You have just tuned into another edition of Perspectives from the Sky on this third day of June, 2023. Does it seem to you all that like we're almost halfway done with the year 2023? This seems to be moving rather rapidly. Is it just that I'm getting older, or is this really something in time that says, yes, somehow time has changed and things are moving faster? I think I kind of lean toward that. Because so many people, regardless of their ages, have been telling me they've been feeling the same thing. So here we are in a new chapter too. Some people I've been talking to feels to them like it's a new book, not just a new chapter, but it's a powerful new something for all of us. Let me take you back to how, today is a full moon. We'll talk about that in a little while. Deborah is likely going to talk something about that too today. But first, let's just go through this new chapter. So it began at the solar eclipse new moon in Aries on the 20th of April. And then the next day on the 21st, Mercury went retrograde. Felt like whatever powerful new beginning a lot of people felt, all of a sudden, you know how Mercury retrograde works. It's rewind, reflect, redo. So people got into that, started thinking about things that weren't about what they're moving into, what you got to kind of sort through before things move forward. So then that lasted till the 14th, 15th of May. And then 4 days later, on the 19th of May, was a new moon in Taurus. And that new moon signified pretty much the end of eclipse season. And you can feel the intensity lessen. And the end of Mercury retrograde. Although it was still going pretty slowly forward. Not a good time yet over the first few days to come to definite conclusions or decisions. And now we're at the next major lunation. We're at the full moon in Sagittarius, which is Gemini Sagittarius. So that creeps us up a little bit further on this new chapter, on this new book. But remember, this is the beginning of something. So it's not fast forward, although it's going to feel a little bit faster forward when you get to the new moon, which will be on the 17th. So remember Taurus, new moon in Taurus takes whatever powerful energy that Aries puts out there, springtime, through the branches, the buds, rushing to the egg, the semen. That's Aries, force, power, new beginnings. Then Taurus grabs all that and says, we're going to make it real. We're going to institute it. We're going to manifest it. So that's what the Taurus new moon started. Now at this Gemini Sag full moon, there's a lot about information, sorting through information, communication. This is more of a light and animated kind of a full moon, Gemini Sagittarius usually. And if people start conversations with other people, a lot of times that thing's really going to roll, especially if you have Gemini Sagittarius people in the conversation. But it definitely is a time to take in information. That's the Gemini part. Information, share information, communicate. Sagittarius, take that information, put it together to get an understanding, to get a bigger picture, to get a sense of cohesion, answers. That's the two of them together. So when they go at it, which they're doing now, sometimes the mind can feel overwhelmed. Sometimes when people are communicating with someone else, it feels like, wow, how do I ground myself in this? But overall, it's great for sorting through information, coming to some kind of answers or conclusions. This is a good full moon for that. But let things go. Let them open up. Don't try to control it too much. That's the best way to handle a full moon like this. That will give us some more insight when she comes up, and she'll be pretty much coming up at the half hour. So, bigger picture. We're in a new age, everybody. We're in the Aquarian age. We started on that in the winter solstice of 2020. That was right after the election here in America, presidential election, and right before the January 6th insurrection that happened. So that's when the age of Aquarius began, in my estimation. Now, I want to take us back to 1776, around that time, during the American Revolution. Reason I want to do that is because Pluto went into Aquarius recently, and it's gonna, a few weeks, it's gonna go back down into Capricorn, then come up into Aquarius, and the end of next year, down into Capricorn for a little while, and then it's gonna go into Aquarius at the end of 2024, and will stay there for approximately 20 years. Pluto's a very slow moving planet, as Neptune is. So when they stay in a sign, they take a long time. So the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, remember, it's got approximately 248-year cycle, give or take a year or two. So the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was between 1778 and 1998. What was going on in our world then? American Revolution, French Revolution, and the Haitian Revolution were all going on during that time period. Mere coincidence? So many revolutions. And those revolutions, what were they about? They're about we, the people, of the people, by the people, for the people, just like is in the United States Constitution. That's what all three of these revolutions were about. Taking the power away from the authority figures like the kings and queens in France and the United States. Authority figures gone. So now we look at the next Pluto in Aquarius time. How much did we do that? Are we still of the people, by the people, for the people? No. Doesn't it kind of look like of the corporations and governments, by the corporations and governments, and for the corporations and governments? We've come a ways away from what the original intention of the revolutions were. So now Pluto in Aquarius, remember Aquarius, that's the sign of these revolutions. Interestingly and synchronistically, not coincidentally, synchronistically, Uranus was discovered in 1781. Check that out. The American Revolution was going on at that time. Pluto was in Aquarius. And Mercury and Uranus, the ruling planet of Aquarius, was discovered during that time period. Think how magical and meaningful all that is. So the age of Aquarius didn't begin then, but it sure looked like it and felt like it. The people that were involved in those revolutions did not stick. Now we're at the next Pluto in Aquarius. Now it's time to go further with the revolutions. You look around, you go, what revolutions? Hey, everybody, we just started with Pluto in Aquarius. It's only just begun. And you can see a lot of that's going on in the world is shaking things up. And that's part of the process because the old systems cannot make it in an age of Aquarius because we're of the people, by the people, for the people, because we're diversity within unity, because it's about equality, liberation. These things are rare in our world right now, it seems sometimes, doesn't it? Or all the time. But that's where we're headed. These next 20 years are going to be filled with revolutionary energies, new ideas, a new paradigm. That's what was happening back the last time. Whole new paradigm for living. And that's what we're moving into now. A lot that things are going to move into, idea-wise and paradigm-wise. We don't even know yet. I'm giving you some of what I do know, about the revolution and about of the people, by the people, diversity within unity. There's a whole lot more we don't know yet. Age of Aquarius has started. Remember, Aquarius is not about the biological level of things. Not about the biological level of things. It's about greater mind. It's about new ideas. It's about outside the box thinking, outside the box movements. LGBTQ is a part of Aquarius. The trans movement is a part of Aquarius. So we, the people, are going to need to get together in new ways, not like now where the Republicans hate the Democrats and the Chinese hate the United States and vice versa. That's not the world we can move into. We have to move into a world where people are in a community and they say within this community, we need to talk to one another. We're all different, but we respect one another's differences and we need to discuss what's best for this community. That's our new world. And that world can't happen unless we break down the paradigm of the old world, which is a lot of survival of the fittest. I take what I can get in competition with you. There's a lot of greed in the old paradigm. There's a lot of separation in the old paradigm. There's a lot of hierarchy in the old paradigm. No archies in the new one, in the new paradigm. No hierarchies. A way for everybody to be accepted for the individual that they are, and at the same time in unity. And we can do this. Not we can do this. We are going to do this. Will I be alive when it is at its best? Doubtful. But I'm hoping I can be around to see a lot of the big changes that are coming our way on the way to this Aquarian age. So again, Pluto and Aquarius, 1778 to 1998. That was the time of all of the revolutions and discovery of Uranus, all that. And now we're there again. And now it's going to happen again. Powerful transformation across this globe. Let's take it now to now. So recently, Saturn has gone into Pisces. Pluto and Aquarius, we've talked about that. And Jupiter has recently gone into Taurus. So let's talk about each one of those. So for instance, Jupiter and Taurus, Jupiter has a 1 year length of time in a sign. Saturn has approximately 2.5 years in a sign. Pluto, anywhere from 13 to 20 years in a sign. So let's start with Jupiter and Taurus. What's that about? Okay, Jupiter is about that which raises your spirits, that which is expansive, that which makes you feel uplifted, makes you feel hope. When it's in Taurus, there's a lot of hope around developing a more secure life. And a lot of what that means in our real world is having enough money, perhaps having land, a home, some kind of security, some kind of resources. You know, Taurus is also about the sensuality of life, sensuousness of life, I should say. It's taking in life from the senses, taste, smell, sight. That's a lot of what Taurus is. So that's something else that can grow for you now with Jupiter in Taurus, is to enjoy the comforts of life, to enjoy that which gives you pleasure in life. That's very Taurus. So with all the other things going on, you know, Taurus can give you some of this comfort and some of this feeling of security that you would like. Let's go to Saturn in Pisces. So by the way, let's see, the last time that Jupiter was in Taurus was 2011, I believe. Yes, 2011. Take yourself back to 2011 and see what that time was for you. In fact, I believe it was like halfway through 2011 to halfway through 2012 was the last time Jupiter was in Taurus. Now Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces, the last time was from 94 to 96, 1994 to 1996. And the time before that was 1965, 66. Saturn in Pisces. So Saturn is about gravity. It's about solidity. It's about things being put together and organized and solid. It's like your root chakra connected to the earth, connected to what grounds you. Gravity. When Saturn's in Pisces, think of it now. Pisces is like the ocean, right? So when Saturn is in Pisces, its ability to do all those things that we just talked about are limited. Back in 65, 66, when Saturn was in Pisces, at the same time, Uranus was conjunct Pluto in Virgo. So that combination helped bring on the 60s, 70s revolution. That was the start of the revolution, was in 65, 66. And if you go back to 65, 66, you'll see that the draft for the Vietnam War started at that time. You'll see that Martin Luther King's powerful presence was getting stronger and stronger in 65, 66. And you'll see that the 60s revolution was truly beginning during that time. And the Pluto conjunct Uranus in Virgo had a lot to do with it. But remember, with Saturn in Pisces, when Saturn's in Pisces, is like the grounding tools, the anchors are very, anchor is probably a good metaphor, right? In the water. So it's like it's more flexible, more flowing, more difficult to say, that's it, here's the rule, here's the law, set. That's much more difficult to do. So, all of us are always balancing off following our hearts or following our moral compass. Following our hearts can get stronger now. It doesn't mean you give up your moral compass, but it means the heart may be more important to follow that than the moral compass. I'm not trying to break laws or to do things that are against what you want to do. I'm just saying in the balance of things between heart and moral compass, the heart energies should be getting stronger for all of us, which is not a bad thing, right? So there's a transformation of consciousness that's a part of all this. Transformation of consciousness. So when you look at the trans movement, for instance, let's look at it just from the standpoint of gender fluid. So what does gender fluid mean? It means that the absoluteness of what's male and what's female are not as solid. And with Saturn and Pisces, that's even more, can be even more so that way. Does that mean that we no longer have a way of saying that person has those genitals and that person has those, and so that this is a girl and this is a boy? No, that doesn't change. I mean, that's the physical part of it. We're talking about the soul part of it. We're talking about the soul part of it. And when you're in Aquarius, it's not the soul part of it as much as it is the higher mind or the inventive mind or the mind that's outside the box of the usual way of thinking and being. And so with this Aquarius energy, we're shaking up some of the old ways that we think and believe. The trans movement is real. I believe one of the reasons for the trans movement is to get us to balance more inside each one of us, male and female energies. Let me say, it's not as weird as you think it is. Some of you, it's like, just look at Carl Jung. Carl Jung preached about every man has an inner woman, every woman has an inner man. The inner woman for a man is the anima. The inner man for a woman is animus. And sometimes you can see the state of your anima or your animus by looking at the male or female you've drawn into your life. But the point I'm trying to make is, now's the time with the Aquarian age of moving to a place where the opposites want to be more connected to one another, just like up above me there, the yin yang symbol, where the opposites are not separate and at war, because war is what happens when the opposites are separate with no connection with one another. So as you and I inside connect with our opposite gender better, we can connect with the opposite gender because we've done it inside ourselves. As Christ said, the kingdom is within. So when you're making the changes you want to make in your life out there, you make the changes inside yourself, and that changes your life out there. You draw it to yourself based on what's going on at the deepest level of your own consciousness and being. So We learn how to make better communication with the opposite gender by having it more balanced inside of ourselves. Now, the same thing goes with not just gender, but it goes with dark and light, for instance. We have taken darkness and we've demonized it. Think how crazy that is. Every day is half dark and half light. Why would we demonize the darkness? Or why have we created this paradigm in the New Age movement, which is the light's going to defeat, with some people anyway, the light's going to defeat the dark. You don't defeat the dark. You learn to live with the dark. You merge with the dark. You make balance with the dark in life and inside yourself. So the yin yang symbol teaches us that, teaches us about the balance, about bringing together the opposites. And as we bring together these opposites, we help create a new consciousness, which will help us create this new world. And when you look out in the world and you see, it's still there with male and female, the oppression of the female energy is still very strong on our planet. It has not gone away with the 60s revolution. It was improved, and it's getting more improved now. But remember, in the consciousness of many people in the patriarchal age, the female energy is weak. And if you're in a position of battling somebody, you cannot allow weakness. That's why, in that old paradigm, the feminine or the yin part of life has been abused because of this desire to win, because of this desire to be dominant. As we integrate the female inside ourselves and inside our world, we learn to balance off those two energies. On the one hand, we have the love and the care and the concern. And on the other hand, we have the assertion, the not dominance, but assertion and force of life. And we balance them. And that's the new world, and that's the new consciousness. So we all have work to do, don't we? Inner work. Because inner work is what I'm talking about. Inner work is what this is all about. So looking forward this year, we're going to have Deborah come on pretty soon. So looking forward, there's a new moon that's coming up on the 17th overnight to the 18th. Now that one is going to, whereas the Taurus is instituted, that new moon is going to have a lot more energy to it for a new moon. The Taurus is fixed earth. That's mutable air. There's going to be much more energy at that next new moon, and you're going to feel, starting after that new moon on the 17th, 18th, your new chapter moving faster forward. That's what's going to make you feel it's a bit faster forward. Let's look briefly out in the world. What could happen? Remember, in order to get this new world with the new consciousness, a lot of the old world has to be transformed. No superpowers, no empires. People say, well, yeah, if the American superpower goes down, then we got the Chinese superpower, the Russian. No, I'm saying there's no superpowers anymore in the new world. It's a multipolar world. You could see some of it developing already, like in the eastern part of our world. There's a new thing called BRICS, BRICS, BRICS. And it's Brazil, Russia, China's in there, India's in there. And it's a whole new group in the eastern part of our world that's building up a strength and a unity. And it's, because the power has been with the NATO and the Western world. So this is going to be a balance for that. Yeah, it might be ugly at first. It might be ugly at first because everybody's going to be at war, but that's not where it's headed. It's headed to diversity within unity in a multipolar world of equals. I'm not a Pollyanna. This is something that I believe deep inside of me, that's what the truth is. But it's not going to be pleasant and pretty on the way there. So here's some places that are going to make some big changes, and probably starting in the beginning of July. In the Middle East, there's been a lot of war talk, but no nothing that's really gone over the edge into it. Well, after July, there's a higher likelihood of that. Israel's been talking about attacking Iran because it's developing nuclear weapons, which Israel has plenty of already themselves. So they want to stop Iran from having that, and they're probably going to go into Iran. And they've been very, very oppressive of Palestinians more lately than usual. And somehow that's most likely going to erupt into something after the beginning of July. Part of that is because Mars will be in Leo at the 28 degrees that we talked about before, the 28 degrees of fixed signs. From 2017, there was a solar eclipse, new moon in Leo at 28 degrees. That was a time when the culture war got stronger in Charlottesville, Virginia, that started. And that's when North Korea was getting stronger with its I've got the nuclear weapon and I can use it kind of talk. And now that 28 degrees, as it keeps turning up, it's going to trigger those parts of our world, culture war, North Korea, China area, so that you can expect to open up more as we get into the latter part of this year, and especially so in next year. Remember, this is a part of the process to get us to our new world. Our abilities are to, not just abilities, but what we need to aim for inside ourselves is the new consciousness. That's all we can do. We can't control directly what happens in the world around us, but we can control what we do inside ourselves. We can control what we do with our consciousness. And so that's what we will be doing now. That's what I'll be doing, working more and more on my consciousness to find that balance between the opposites inside myself as much as I can. Okay, we're going to bring it to Deborah in just a couple of minutes. We'll have our next show in 2 weeks. What is 2 weeks? That'll be the 17th of June. And in the future, we're going to bring on more and more talks about aliens and UFOs, because I'm going to tell you this, during this Aquarius age, during these 20 years that Pluto's in Aquarius, I guarantee you that information about those from other planets, other beings from other planets, that's going to get more and more powerful. It's going to get more and more known. It's going to be known on a global level. That's coming over these next 20 years. I guarantee it. And I think over the next couple of years, we're going to see big breakthroughs in that. I'm teaching a class which starts at the end of this month. It's going to be part astrology, and it's going to be part taking people on guided meditations to help them to soul travel to other dimensions and to other planets to see what's there. If you're interested, go to lightnet, L-I-G-H-T, net, N-E-T, all one word, .org/Leo. And you'll be able to see that class and sign up for that class if you're interested. Also know that I specialize in working with people that are in transformational crisis. And you can get a hold of me at Solus, S-O-U-L-U-S, at AOL.com and find out more about it directly. You can go to leoknightontallarico.com and see what kind of sessions I do provide for people. So I'm talked out now. So I see Deborah sitting in the green room there, ready to come on. Deb, you ready to come on? Yes? Okay. And here's Deborah Knighton Tallarico. And perhaps I'll be able to say goodbye at the end of the hour. And there she is.
There I am. So yeah, maybe we'll have some time at the end to talk, depending on how long I go. But I wanted to piggyback on a couple of things you said before you leave the screen. Some of the things that you were talking about.
I can't hear you right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to go.
You can't hear
I'm
me.
going to let you take over. Are
Can
you
other
ready to take over?
yes, but can other people hear me? Can people hear me? I don't know if other people can hear me. If anyone's there, could you let me know if you can hear me? I'd really appreciate it. Okay. Can anyone hear me out there? Okay. Hopefully you can. I'm going to start talking. Yes. Thank you for sharing that you can hear me. I appreciate it. Okay. So, what I wanted to piggyback on first from what Leo said was that a couple things that Leo mentioned that I just wanted to add another angle to, which is he talked a lot about revolution with Pluto being in Aquarius for almost 20 years and making its dance into Aquarius now and tipping back into Capricorn. But the word revolution actually has evolution in it. And that's the thing that I'm feeling really strongly is that we're moving into a time of tremendous evolution as we go through revolutions in the old world as it goes through its shifting and changing and transformation. So I just wanted to add that in it's in the word. Evolution is in the word revolution. And I think this is going to be a time of incredible spiritual awakening. And that's already happening now. And, that's when Leo and I started Spiritual Renaissance Center. It was all about the spiritual renaissance we're in right now. And we truly are. And that's going to be getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And, with all the solar flares and everything, there's just going to be more and more awakening of our consciousness. So I just wanted to add that in. And the other thing was with Aquarius is community. And that word community has common unity in it. It's and I think that's a lot of what the Aquarian age is also about is finding our common unity, what joins us together, even though there's also, of course, our individuality, which is very important, but our common unity, community, because that's a lot of Aquarius, the community of sisterhood and brotherhood. And then the other one was when Leo talked about moving beyond hierarchy. And instead of things being vertical in the new earth, the new golden age, I always think of the Aquarian age as part of this larger golden age that we're moving into. And I'm just starting to become aware of that we're moving into more of a horizontal consciousness, which is kind of in alignment also with community. Because when you're in that horizontal, you're more in community with everyone around you rather than just like this in the hierarchy. Not that this alignment is only hierarchy, but we're going to be moving from that into that more, we're all connected here. We're all in this together. We're all in this big community, common unity. And I just wanted to add that to piggyback because this is a time of tremendous transformation and spiritual awakening, as I think most of you that are listening are feeling in yourself and in your own life. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this full moon. And I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning. I don't know if anyone else did, but the moon was calling me. And I went outside and I sat, and she was getting ready to set. She was still maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes from setting. And I sat out there and I just started receiving all these downloads. And I felt that the energy of the moon kind of awakening and flowing into my third eye, my pineal gland. And I just started getting a lot of downloads about this full moon. And that this full moon is also known as the Christos moon, the Christ moon, because it follows. So all the full moons of spring are very powerful. And we just had the Wesak full moon, which was the energy of Buddha, and Buddha returning to bring light and that illumination to humanity, and returns every year at the Wesak full moon, the full moon of Taurus, Scorpio. And now the next full moon is this full moon, which is also known as the Christ full moon. And not just as in Christ Jesus, but really Christ consciousness. And this day of the Sagittarius full moon with Gemini sun is also known as World Invocation Day. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And it was named that back in 1952. So whenever it's the Gemini Sagittarius full moon in June or May, is the time of the World Invocation Day, also known as the Festival of Unification and the Festival of Humanity, and also the time of the World Teacher returning. And, some people believe that the Christ is returning, the Savior, but I believe it's the Christ consciousness and that world teacher, that teacher within all of us returning, and us all being empowered in our own direct connection with source and within us, the source within us, the divine, and that realization that the divine is truly within us. So that's a lot of this energy with the Sagittarius full moon, is this energy of that really embodying that higher knowing, because Sag is a lot about that higher philosophical consciousness and connection with your higher self, with higher learning, higher knowing, gnosis. But that's also really about that inner gnosis, the inner knowledge of yourself as this amazing divine being that you are, and honoring and acknowledging that the teacher lives within, just as God, Goddess, lives within us. So at this full moon, you might feel that awareness of your own divinity. And as we all know, full moons are extremely potent, and we feel them for a couple days leading up and a couple days afterwards. But it's that powerful energy. It's like a portal. Every time there's a full moon, there's this expansion of energy, and especially in a Sag full moon, because it's oversold by Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion. So it's a very expansive full moon, and that higher vibration, that higher, like the spiritual initiate energy, and feeling that spiritual initiate within you, that teacher that you have inside, the divine within you, and your connection with your higher self. Now, whenever there's a full moon, it's always that balance between the moon and the sun, and they're exactly opposite each other. The full moon exact moment tonight is at 8:42 p.m. Pacific time, 11:42 p.m. Eastern time in the United States. So that's when the sun and the moon are exactly opposite each other. So the other download I was getting was about Gemini, and us raising our consciousness into this Christ consciousness. And I always think of it as the Christos Sophia consciousness, because that brings in it's really a divine feminine and masculine energy, not just masculine as in what we've thought of as the Christ energy, but it's the Christ Magdalene, the Christos Sophia energy. And Gemini happens to be the sign of the twins and the balancing of really the light and the dark and the masculine and feminine. And part of how we attain and reach that enlightened Christos Sophia consciousness is through our own inner divine union, the inner divine union between our feminine and masculine, light and dark, yin and yang, as Leo always talks about. And it's through moving through the dualities, or actually finding a way to balance the dualities within us, not separating them, but feeling them in balance within us. And there's a greater whole that holds it. And that's that oneness consciousness where we balance all the opposites, the polarities, the dualities. And that's something that our world needs so much right now, is that balancing, that integration of masculine, feminine, light and dark. And so that, and all dualities and polarities, as Leo talked about, like all the things that are going on in the world. So my suggestion is to stay out of any battles and look at how can I find peace. And even out in the world, like we have so many polarities right now, like left and right, Democrats, Republicans in the United States, you know, transgender, not transgender. I mean, all these things that are going on. And how can you stay in the middle point, the 0 point, and really feel that balance, yin and yang, and light and dark, masculine, feminine. And this full moon is going to bring us that energy. And I'm sure I'm starting to feel that already. So just allow yourself to receive the light codes coming in. And I always feel like whenever there's a full moon, new moons, I mean, with all the planets and the stars, we're receiving emanations of energy and light vibrations from these celestial bodies. And when so at this full moon, go outside and like let yourself just receive the light rays of the moon to come into you, bringing forth these imprints or new imprints of what I was just talking about, of the, connecting with the higher self, your divinity, balancing the masculine, feminine, bringing in the Christ consciousness, that kind of thing. So it's a really powerful time at every full moon, and to pull into and just start embodying and welcoming those energies. It's also a powerful time to make elixirs and sacred waters and take your sacred objects and crystals out to be reconsecrated in the full moon energy, and to reconsecrate yourself too as you stand in that light, and ask for what you need and have gratitude. That's that time of gratitude, the fullness of the light of the moon. So the other things I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to do a little meditation at the end where I'm going to have us all say the great invocation, which was originated from Alice Bailey years ago, even before 1952. I've adapted it a little bit, and I'm going to have that be part of our meditation, because today is the day of the great invocation. So the other thing I wanted to talk about just briefly was, in the cycle of Venus, which I have been delving into for the last 5 years. Right now we're in the third eye gateway. So really notice for the next couple of weeks before we move into the crown chakra gateway. And if you notice, Venus is in the evening sky now, and she is just bright as can be. And this would be in the western sky after sunset, and she's there longer now because of the time of our sunset. But anyway, if you can connect with her and just really feel her energy and become aware of your third eye and any issues or any ways that you want to awaken your third eye and your pineal gland, and bring the light in, because that's one of the ways to really illuminate and awaken our third eye, our inner sight, is to bring the light in. So the light, like a lot of people sun gaze, like at the very beginning of the sunrise or at the sunset. That's the only time you're supposed to do it so it doesn't hurt your eyes. But it's supposed to help illuminate your third eye and your pineal gland. And I felt it last night with the moon. So you can also use the light of the moon. You can also just tune in on a spiritual level to the light of source coming in and illuminating your pineal gland and your third eye. The pineal gland's in the center of our brain, and it's the main gland for our third eye. And the other thing I want to say before I do the meditation is interesting to note that on Monday, June 5th, Venus will move into Leo, leaving Cancer. And what's most significant is it's going to enter Leo and be in Leo all the way until October 8th. So a very long time. And you might be wondering, why is Venus going to be in a sign that long? Because usually she's only in a sign 3 to 4 weeks. So it's because this cycle of Venus is coming to an end, because we're at the third eye. We're going to be in the crown chakra. The cycle's winding down and is metamorphosizing into the new energy, which is going to be the energy of Leo for the next Venus cycle of 19 months. So that cycle doesn't actually begin, I don't think, until September or the end of in August. But Venus will be in Leo, going back and forth retrograde. She'll be retrograde for quite a while, and then direct, and won't move into Virgo until October 8th. So you might want to just start tuning into that Venus being in Leo, which is so connected to the heart and love. And this is a new cycle we're moving into in Venus, the Venus cycle. So there's going to be an emphasis on expanding and healing our hearts, healing our inner child, with Venus and Leo, and finding new ways of creative self-expression, creativity, awakening that within us, getting to know, not only heal our inner child, our wounded child, but actually reawaken and activate and get to know our divine child within, that's got that like pure innocence and that expansive heart love, and that love vibration is going to be really strong. So you can tune into that. Any healing you might need in your heart is a good time during Leo, because Leo's got that heart energy, that expansive heart energy. So I'm going to leave you with that and move into our meditation today. So our meditation, and this is a heart chakra bowl that I'm going to play today as we're getting ready to prepare for Venus moving into Leo, and also at this powerful Sagittarius full moon. And just bear with us and we will get to the great invocation. And I'm going to say it slow enough so you can repeat it out loud in your sacred space. It's recommended during this time in this full moon to say this prayer, and you can find it online. It's called the Great Invocation. Originated with Alice Bailey, and it's been around, I think, since the 30s. You can find that online. So let's just take a moment now to just take a few really deep breaths. And just bring our awareness to our body, to our breath, bringing our awareness into our heart chakra, beginning to breathe into our heart. And just feeling your heart expanding with each in-breath. And then becoming aware of the energy of Mother Earth beneath you. And as you feel your own heartbeat, become aware of the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And begin to bring your heartbeat, into sacred resonance with the heartbeat of our mother, our beloved earth. And soon you begin to feel your hearts beating as one, as your heartbeat is in total resonance with the earth. As we give thanks to Mother Earth for all the blessings we receive every day, for the beauty of nature all around us, the food, the water, the herbs, the sacred medicines that sustain us alive, all the elemental beings of nature, we give thanks to the nature spirits and devas, all the ancient guardians of the earth, we give thanks to all these ones. And we pause to give thanks to the indigenous, original people of the land we each live on, honoring these ones. And honoring our own ancient indigenous families and lineages. And just pouring our love and gratitude into the heart of Mother Earth, to all the elemental beings of nature, our gratitude. Pouring our gratitude into the crystalline grids, into the ley lines, the song lines, the creation lines of the earth. And just feeling our deep groundedness and connection to Mother Earth, to Gaia, Pachamama. And then becoming aware now of our heart beating again in resonance with Mother Earth. And becoming aware now of Source above us, universal divine Source. And just imagine a cord from your heart, a golden cord, moving up all the way to the heart of Source, and beginning to feel and experience the heartbeat of the divine Source of all that is, and aligning your heartbeat with this divine source of oneness and love that is the universe, the divine oneness of all that is. And just imagine now a waterfall of golden light flowing down from the heart of the universe, from the heart of the divine source of all that is. This golden light flowing down, cascading around you as a waterfall, and then flowing down through your upper chakras into your crown, and flowing down all the way down into the heart of Mother Earth, merging with the emerald green light of Mother Earth. And just feel the golden and emerald green light of the earth and the source, golden source of all that is, dancing together. And then pulling this energy up now into your heart, the emerald green light of Gaia and the golden light of Source, merging and dancing together in your heart, the dance of the earth and the heavens, and feeling your heart as the center point, the center, the balance point between yin and yang, above and below, light and dark, masculine and feminine. And let us now become aware of the brilliant full moon above us, and just imagine whatever time zone you're in or wherever you are. If you're in the nighttime, the moon might be out, or if it's in the day, just remember or visualize and imagine the full moon above your head, this full moon of Sagittarius, this Christos Sophia full moon, brilliant. And just feel this silvery white light of the moon flowing and cascading around you like a waterfall of light, a waterfall of silvery white, divine feminine, Christos Sophia light cascading all around you. And then imagine this light flowing down through your upper chakras into your crown and then traveling down into your heart. So in your heart begins to fill with this light of the full moon, of the Christos Sophia full moon, merging with the golden light of Source and the emerald green light of Gaia. But really tuning into the moon and the Christos Sophia energy. And just take a moment to receive a divine message from the moon, from this beautiful, powerful full moon for you. And feel the Christ Sophia light within you, filling your heart. And I'm going to have you repeat out loud after me the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God. And just repeat that out loud. From the point of light within the mind of God. Let light stream forth into the minds of all. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, Goddess, all that is. Let love stream forth into the hearts of all. And I'll say that again. From the point of love within the heart of God, Goddess, all that is. Let love stream forth into the hearts of all. May love increase on earth. From the center where the will of God is known. Let purpose guide the wills of all beings. The purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the human race. Let the divine plan of love and light work out. And may it seal the door where darkness dwells. May light and love and power restore the divine plan on earth. May light and love and power restore the divine plan on earth. Let love and light and power restore our planet Earth. So be it, and so it is. Blessed be.
Thank you, Deb.
And happy full moon to everyone. I know we're ending now. So happy full moon.
Happy full moon to everyone. And we will see you in 2 weeks, which is the 17th of June.
And you can find me at Gaia Sophia Temple of the Heart.com. Sorry, Leo.
That's okay.
Bye,
Pleasure being with you all today. Lots of
everyone.
love.
Love.
See you
So
in a
much
couple
love.
weeks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.